Let's talk about creativity. You know, that thing so many of us are totally convinced we just don't have. Well, today, we're going to dive into how to unlock that powerful, innovative thinking that, and I mean this, is already inside every single one of us.
All right, let me ask you something right off the bat. Do you think of yourself as a creative person? Now, if you're like a lot of people, your gut reaction might be, heck no, I can't even draw a convincing stick figure. But that's a huge misunderstanding of what creativity actually is, and we're about to change that.
Because what if we've been looking at this whole thing completely backwards? Here's the big idea we're exploring. Creativity isn't some rare talent that only a few lucky artists and musicians get. No, it's our natural state. It's our factory setting. It's who we are at our very core.
Okay, so first things first, we've got to completely reframe what creativity even means. See, the biggest barrier for most of us is this tiny little box we put it in, thinking creativity just equals art. That's kind of like saying transportation is only about Ferraris. It completely misses the huge, amazing picture.
And this is where things get really interesting. In the Tibetan language, there isn't really a direct word for creative. The closest they have is the word for natural. It's seen as so basic to being human that it doesn't need its own special label. Just let that sink in for a second. It's not something you try to be, it's just what you are. So this is the definition we need to hang on to. Creativity is simply the act of bringing something new into being. That's it. It's about solving problems, coming up with a new process, connecting dots no one else saw. It's not about what you use to create, it's about the act of creation itself.
Think about it. A scientist who designs this just beautiful experiment. A financial analyst who builds a totally new kind of investment model. A salesperson who puts together a pitch that just clicks in a new way. These are all deeply creative acts. It's about generating new value, period. It doesn't matter what field you're in.
Okay, so if that's true, if we're all creative, then the big question is, where is your unique creativity hiding, right? How do you actually tap into it? Well, the answer is usually right there in front of you.
You know, the secret is finding your flow. Just ask yourself these questions. What's that thing you can do where hours just disappear? What leaves you feeling totally energized, not drained? That's the telltale sign. That's the sweet spot where your natural creative genius lives. That is your launchpad.
But here's the thing. The second you find that spark, you run smack into its #1 enemy. And guess what? That enemy, it's usually staring back at you in the mirror. It's that little voice inside your head, the one full of doubt and criticism.
That won't work. You've heard it a million times. Worse, you've probably said it to yourself a million times. This tiny little phrase is a weapon of mass creative destruction. It just shuts everything down before an idea even has a chance to take its first breath.
You know, there's actually a word for this habit. Idecide. It's the premature killing of our own ideas. It's what happens when we let our fear of what other people will think, or our fear of it not being perfect, censor our own thoughts before they even have a fighting chance. And look, this isn't some small thing. The fallout is huge. When you commit ideacide, it's not just one idea that dies. You start to create this culture of playing it safe. Your solutions get boring, your own confidence tanks, and you rob your friends and coworkers of the chance to collaborate, to turn your little spark into a huge bonfire.
Okay, so how do we fight back? How do we stop this from happening? Well, the very first tool is a really powerful mental shift. It's all about changing where you put your focus.
It's all about swapping one question for another. Instead of getting stuck on, what will people think of my idea? Try asking, who could this idea help? See what happens? You shift your focus from the fear of being judged to the positive intention of helping someone. You starve the anxiety and you feed the motivation.
You can do this right now. It's like a little mindfulness exercise. Seriously, take a second and walk through these steps. Think about an idea you've had. Now, picture the person you want to help. Really imagine how your work could make their life just a little bit better. Let that feeling of purpose be your shield against all that self-doubt.
All right, so that's defense. Now let's talk offense. Creativity isn't just a mindset, it's a muscle. And just like any other muscle in your body, you got to work it out to make it stronger.
And here's your workout plan. It's super simple, but honestly, it's a total game changer. Come up with 10 ideas every single day. It doesn't matter what they're about. The whole point is to make generating ideas a habit, something you just do, like brushing your teeth.
And this is the most important part, so listen up. This exercise is not about having 10 brilliant, perfect, earth-shattering ideas. Nope.
The goal is just to have ideas. That's it. They can be bad ideas, silly ideas, impossible ideas. It doesn't matter. This takes all the pressure off. It's about quantity, not quality, which completely silences that inner critic.
And hey, if you ever feel stuck, here are a few brilliant little hacks to get you going. Make a bug list. Just write down everything that annoyed you today. That's a goldmine for problems to solve. Or try to come up with the absolute worst possible idea. It's actually a fun way to get unstuck. Or, my favorite, ask what your hero would do. You know, what would Steve Jobs or Maya Angelou do in this situation?
It really all boils down to this. Your brain is a muscle. If you don't use it, it gets flabby. This daily practice is your gym membership for creativity. It's what keeps you sharp, quick on your feet, and ready for anything.
Okay, so this is where it all comes together. We figured out what creativity really is, we've identified its biggest enemy, and we've got a game plan to fight back. Now it's about what you choose to do with it.
Because at the end of the day, it's a choice. And you make this choice every single day. You can either play it safe, keep your ideas to yourself, and protect yourself from maybe being judged, or you can choose to contribute, to share your unique way of seeing the world and make things better for other people.
And you know, when you stop killing your own ideas, this amazing thing happens. Your idea, even if it's not perfect, might be the exact spark that someone else needs to build something incredible. You start this chain reaction. It becomes a win-win for everyone.
So I'll leave you with this question. Don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect idea, because they don't exist. The journey back to your natural, creative state starts with one tiny step. So what's just one idea, silly, small, or half-baked, that you're going to let yourself have today?